Hello everyone, my name is Becca and welcome to Yellow Cat Studios. In today's Sewing Basics video, I'm going to be talking about the parts of a sewing machine. Now every machine is going to be a little bit different, but they will all have the same basic parts. So I'm going to go through them on my machine and tell you basically what they do and what they're for. So first we've got the hand wheel. This will be on the side of your sewing machine and you can turn it, which moves your needle up and down. It will also move this piece in here, which is called the take-up lever. This helps pull the thread through the machine. When you're sewing, your upper thread will live up here on the spool pin. They will usually have something on the end to keep the spool on here. Each machine will thread different, but some of them, like mine, will have a diagram on the machine to show you how to thread your thread through the machine. If not, you will find it in the manual for your machine. In my machine, the tension discs are in here. It's really hard to show you, but these are adjusted with your tension wheel. So there are quite a few important pieces in here, so bear with me. This is where your sewing machine needle lives. There will be a screw to keep it in. The biggest difference between a sewing machine needle and a hand sewing needle is the eye of the needle where the thread goes through is down at the point there, and this end is flat and shaped to fit into the sewing machine. This piece is not on every machine. I have actually never used it, but I believe this is my automatic threader. This piece is the presser foot. There are lots of different types of presser feet. Mine has a little lever on the back there to release it. This is kind of your most basic universal presser foot. And then underneath the presser foot is the feed dog. So this has like little teeth on them. This helps pull the fabric through the machine. These go kind of up and down in a circle to pull the fabric through the machine. This piece, on mine it's clear, it's called the throat plate. Just pops off like that. This is where your bottom thread or bobbin thread lives. Again, mine has a little diagram on how to thread it through. Your machine will either have this or instructions in your manual. This is a bobbin. They're usually metal or plastic. And it just sits in the bottom here. And then the throat plate goes back over top, and this is your bottom thread. I got ahead of myself and I forgot about the presser foot lever. This is usually in the back of the machine, so you can kind of see mine from the front here. So you can lift your presser foot up, and when you're sewing, it's down so it holds the fabric in place. You're also going to find what kind of stitches that your machine can do. Obviously this particular one has a whole bunch, but your straight stitch and your zigzag stitch will probably be your most used. I have not used the majority of these stitches, and for some of them, like these ones, I would need a different presser foot. You should also have a way to adjust your stitch length and width. I have been using this sewing machine for quite a few years, so this is just what I'm used to. This one is my stitch length, so I can make it smaller or larger. This one is the needle position or the stitch width. So if I turn my machine on, I can adjust where the needle sits, and when I'm using a zigzag stitch, this adjusts how wide the zigzag is. You will also have your sewing pedal. This is attached to your sewing machine and is what makes your sewing machine go. My machine also has this piece. It is a bobbin winder. I don't think this is on every conventional sewing machine, but I just wanted to highlight it. Basically, thread is here. You thread it different to wind the bobbin. Throw it on there, and when that is pushed over, instead of the needle going up and down when the machine is running, this is spinning to wind the bobbin. I also wanted to touch on a couple common problems that might run into when using your sewing machine. A lot of issues are caused by improper threading, so make sure you know how to thread your sewing machine properly. This will save you a lot of grief. Sometimes when you're sewing, your hand wheel might stop turning and your needle will stop moving. This could be because there's thread caught in the bobbin area. If you turn the hand wheel back and forth gently, do not force it, this can help loosen the threads, and you can kind of get in there with tweezers and see where it's caught and loosen it up. If stitches are not being formed, again, your thread might be threaded through the machine wrong, or your needle might be incorrectly placed. You could also be out of bobbin thread, and let me tell you, when you run out of bobbin thread mid-project is really annoying. If your machine is skipping stitches, the needle might be the wrong size. The nice thing is there's universal needles, so that's basically all I use. Unless I'm using really heavy duty fabric, then I'll use like a leather and vinyl needle. If your needle is blunt or bent, it can skip stitches. It can also break the needle, so be very careful about that. And also pulling on your fabric while you sew. Sometimes you need to do that depending on your machine and the settings. But if you are pulling on it as you sew, it can skip stitches and the stitches can be uneven. Again, if your needle breaks, sometimes the needle gets bent, so always check to make sure that it's not, because breaking a needle is not fun. The presser foot or the throat plate could be inserted wrong or loose, and that can also break the needle. If your thread breaks, the needle could be inserted wrong, or there could be a thread caught somewhere. Sometimes a blunt needle can break the thread as well, or if your thread is old or knotted. If your bobbin thread is breaking, there could be debris, dust, thread in the bobbin area. The bobbin could be too full, or the tension could be too tight. Like I said, a lot of sewing machine issues can be solved by proper threading and machine care. So making sure your needles are in place and not bent, making sure there's no rough edges on things like the throat plate or the presser foot, and generally keeping your machine clean and free of little bits of thread or fabric. So that is going to be it for this sewing basics video. I hope it wasn't too rambly and it kind of made sense. Yeah, I plan on making quite a few of these videos, but like I said in the hand stitching video, and like I will say in every single video, I am not a professional. I am largely self-taught. I did take a sewing and dressmaking online course, but other than that, I'm basically self-taught. These are things that I have learned along the way, and research that I have done. So just a little disclaimer for that. I'm actually really enjoying making these, so look forward to a bunch more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.